From Up to Our Hips, that's a song called I Never Want an Easy Life if me and he were ever together. Thanks. We have Tim and we have Mark from the Charlatans joining us yet again, second time in about 2 months?
Yeah.
Something like that. Welcome back to Toronto.
It's good to be in.
Yeah, and welcome back to the Edge of Glory Bathurst. This time, thank goodness, you brought the rest of the band with you. And we should mention we're happy to announce that that they all got in. Everybody's there. Rob did get over the border, so he will be with you guys tomorrow night. So that's good news. I know a lot of people were wondering about that. Is this just the beginning of the tour for you guys?
It's about halfway through. Well, yeah, I've done about 2 weeks in North America.
Have you? How long you got to go?
Another 2.5.
Oh, really?
Like
Is it
just like on the east? Yeah.
Is it just an East Coast tour and that's it? You're not going out West LA or
later? Coming back later.
Oh, really?
In about a month's time.
It sounds like you like to do your tours in spurts so you don't get too run down or anything like that.
I think you gotta mean it.
Yeah.
You gotta mean it. And you start getting lazy.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I guess then that answers the question. You guys like touring, obviously, because I know some bands don't. But you don't seem to mind the road that much. Is that true?
No, we're sort of into it. I mean, as long as we break it up and, you know, because we like to write songs, but when we don't like writing songs on buses.
Do you find you have to do that, though?
No. Not so far.
No. A lot of... well, actually, I read that you, as far as the new album goes, you're finding it a lot easier this time around to play it live, to do it live rather than Some Friendly and...
Yeah, it's a point. I don't... I mean, Some Friendly was sort of pretty easy to play live. I mean, we sort of played it live before we recorded it, and, you know, we didn't have a clue about sort of like how to record anything, you know, and so... But, like, I think on the second album, it was sort of... it was a bit messy, sort of like playing it live. There's some great songs and stuff, but it's a bit sort of messy.
That's funny you should say that, because, you know, I saw you live on that tour and I didn't find, you know, you didn't seem to have any problems like watching you on stage with it. I guess it was more of an internal thing, just little
it's
things.
Better now. It's better.
Yeah, the tour is a lot better. Did you do anything different?
Well, I think maybe we do sort of stuff with a lot more sort of like meaning and stuff. We mean it a lot more.
Yeah. Whereas in the past, maybe I don't want to say you.
No. We've always meant it, but we just mean it more.
Okay. 1-800-461-102.1 is the number to call if you want to ask a question of the Charlatans. 870-EDGE if you're calling locally. This is Mark and Tim, and I want to play another song off the album right here if we can. This is the Charlatans from Up to Our Hips on CFNY 102.1. There.
Yes, I'm still here.
Sure.
Okay, I'm really happy that you get a chance to see you again, because I've seen you guys back in Manchester like 3 or 4 years ago. And my question basically is, now the band, I know that the band are not particularly keen to be associated with the Manchester scenes like 3 or 4 years ago, but it seems that the media back in Britain right now doesn't seem to pay a lot of attention to the band. It was like 3 or 4 years ago. How does that make you think?
It doesn't really bother us. I think we feel as though we've sort of like outgrown any sort of like scene that was around. I think the Manchester scene was really important for a lot of bands, but you know, we're past that now. We're on our own 2 feet. We're not part of that scene, and that's really cool.
Does it kind of bug you though after a while that people still first of all, do people still associate the Charlatans and say Manchester in the same word?
Not so much now. No, because it's really good. It's really good, and I think that it's sort of put you know, like put groups on a world platform. It would never sort of like, you know, I was saying to you before and stuff. It's like amazing that sort of like people in like, you know, Australia or sort of like, you know, America or sort of like Canada or whatever can sort of like, you know, hear a record that was made in Manchester or something like that, and so like music really travels, and I think that even though like the Manchester thing, we've probably been the only people who've really come across and spoke about it a lot. You know, I think it doesn't like bug us at all. We're sort of like proud of it in a way, because it did mean a lot. I think it was sort of like, you know, quite big news. You know,
right? It was at the time, because I mean now we have Seattle. You know, and over in North America here, a lot of us compare, you know, there was Manchester and then there was Seattle. Who's going to be great,
you know, which is great. You know?
But don't you worry about overkill, though?
No,
not at all.
I mean, Seattle's brilliant. It's sort of like, you know, that whole thing has sort of like made a lot of British kids really happy, you know, and it's sort of, you know, it's good to pass it around a bit. You know, music's sort of like, you know, music's more important than where it comes from. You know, it comes from the heart,
right? But I mean, the unfortunate thing that I think about that, though, is just the fact that maybe sometimes your work doesn't get the fair judgment that it really should because of that word, you know,
Right.
For instance, Manchester. So for the people that were already tired, or say they were tired of hearing the word Manchester, they won't give the Charlatans a fair shake because they were labeled into the Manchester sound. Do you know what I mean? That's the only thing that I wonder about it, you know. I thought maybe that.
You can see that, but I think, you know, at the end of the day, I think music's bigger than places. And I think, I mean, we've always sort of like believed that even though like Manchester was such an amazing time for everyone, you know, and everyone was getting on the bus, you know, get on the bus, forget about us, you know,
Right.
and it's sort of like, you know, everyone was getting on it and stuff. And I think that the ones who meant the most have lasted the longest.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I mean, even like the Roses, sort of like, you know, great band and stuff. You know, sort of like, I haven't put anything out for 5 years and still talks about it. It's amazing.
Absolutely. I know that for a fact. We get phone calls every week wondering about the Stone Roses. Thanks, Sean, for your call. We have Misha from Acton on the line. Misha, are you there?
Yeah.
Go ahead. You got a question for the Charlatans?
I was wondering, what's the most unusual gig you've played so far in your careers, and how have the people been responding to you, like your fans or the people in general, been responding to you after, well, since we're in this sort of Seattle scene, I guess, with grunge music?
Weirdest gig, probably Ottawa, was it? we were on stage for about 5 minutes and everything broke down and we had to go off.
Oh, no.
And yeah,
What was
certainly the shortest gig we've ever done.
Have you ever been back to Ottawa?
No, we're not allowed.
I think I know the club, too. It's notorious for that happening. Thanks very much for your call.
It's pretty good. I think some said, oh yeah, you know, who did think we had Juice and Mary Jane? I thought that was pretty good.
That's true. Sorry, I was having a drink of water. You were saying that to me. We have Daniel on the line. Daniel, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hi. I really like the new record. What I was wondering is, it sounds a lot less keyboard heavy than the last two records. There's a lot more. It sounds like it's really pumped up the guitars a lot. Is that any influence from like the so-called grunge scene over the last couple of years that should happen on this new record?
Has it influenced?
Not really. We've been trying to sort of like mix up the keyboards and the guitar a bit more for the past couple of records. We were trying it on the 10th and 11th, and we started using different keyboard instruments. You know, there's more piano, more clavinet, and I think there's a better mix between the guitars and the keyboards now.
What's the distribution for the concert on Monday? Is there going to be like mostly from the new record, or are you going to be going back and forth between the three?
Oh yeah, there'll be bits of everything. We'll probably be doing more or less all of the new record.
Right.
But we'll be doing, you know, 3 or 4 off between 10th and 11th, 3 or 4 off some friendly.
Great. I'm looking really forward to the concert. Good luck.
Nice one.
As you were mentioning as well, as we were talking about off air, you were saying the fact that you're finding that it's a lot easier to get across songs that that weren't getting across before,
Right,
shall we
yeah,
say.
stuff like, I mean, it's really weird because, like, you know, when we first came over and stuff, you know, we'd done all the, the Sun Friendly stuff, and I think when we were playing like between 10th and 11th, it was pretty hard getting it across, and everyone wanted to hear like the Sun Friendly stuff, the only one I know, and everything like that. But stuff like now with the new album, that's going down really sort of, you know, it's going down amazingly well. Stuff sort of and like, you know, Weirdo, can't even be bothered, Ignition, Not Even the Rain, so like going down the Storm and stuff like, you know, obviously the only one I know goes down the Storm and stuff. So it's like, it's sort of like family also like seems to have come together and stuff, you know, from sort of like, you know, people catching up to actually where you're going.
Yeah, could it be also maybe the fact that perhaps on this album people are starting to listen to it as an album rather than just a collection of songs? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, could be.
You know?
Could be.
Yeah, because I was going to think, by listening to it for myself, I find that it doesn't jump all over the place as much as the last record did. I found that it kind of, you hit people with a song like Weirdo with such intense keyboards, and then right after that you kind of sit back a little bit with
Single Weekend or something.
Yeah, something a little more laid back and stuff. So was that a conscious thing for you to do to kind of make it sound more like a whole album, or was it just the way it turned out?
I think it was pretty focused.
Yeah, I think we always had it in our minds. We wanted to make something that made sense from start to finish.
Is this the most comfortable album you've done? as far as recording?
Really enjoyable. It's like, I think 1993 for us was probably our favourite year.
Yeah. Do you find that you were able to kind of sit back and hypothetically speaking, somebody was saying, well, maybe we should sound a little bit like this, and finally you just said, yeah, never mind, we're just going to write what we want to write, and let's see what happens.
I think the whole thing, and it's sort of like answering that question before as well, was that Rob, for the first time, surprisingly discovered Blonde on Blonde by Bob Dylan, and he sort of like mixes the organ and the keyboards together, and that was like a real major influence from his point of view. And it's sort of like, he actually sort of like found a record that wasn't completely Hammond organ dominated. It was sort of like the keyboard and guitar and vocals and sort of like tambourine and drums and stuff, and it was just like somewhere else, that he felt he could get into and stuff. And I thought that was like pretty good.
Yeah.
And that's where it sort of like came from, that sort of Dylan-y, sort of John Lennon sort of style thing.
It kind of sounds like on this album as well, I wanted to bring this up, like you've taken some influences from bands, say, from back in that area, maybe the late 60s or the 60s and the 70s. You have then, obviously.
We like the feel of it. Mm-hmm. We like the feel of a lot of those records.
How about, have you ever heard anything, say, now and gone, boy, I wish we'd come up with that, or anything like that?
Sunflower, Paul Weller.
Yeah. Yeah, what is it about the song?
That funky bit in the middle. I mean, sort of like grew up with the jam and stuff, and I think like the fact that it's still sort of like valid in 1994 is like a major achievement, and great guy.
Right. We'll be back with this from the Charlatans. Should remind you, the show tomorrow night is not sold out. You can get tickets for $18.50. They will be on stage around 9:30. The Charlatans will. It is an all-ages show. You can go to Ticketmaster and pick up tickets there. And if you couldn't make it down today, they will be doing an autograph session between 3:30 and 5:30 p.m. tomorrow at HMV on Yonge Street. Martin Street will have tickets to the show. He will be on location with the Charlatans tomorrow. And again, Mark and Tim are with us, and we have a question from the audience. Please do.
We were just wondering, we were sending the tape in to Conan O'Brien for his college band search, so we were just wondering what you thought of him.
Conan O'Brien, yeah.
Oh, what I thought of Conan O'Brien? Yeah. Oh, I never met him, just sort of like saw him and stuff.
He's very tall.
Because we watched him on the telly and stuff, and from sort of like when we were waiting to go on and stuff, or before. I thought the thing about the space people was pretty good. So I thought that was pretty funny, but apart from that, I never met him. I don't know.
I didn't see it. So
he's all blonde.
You didn't talk to him basically because you just went on, I guess, and played, and there was no chat afterwards.
No, I just never met him. I mean, I wasn't disheartened or anything by not meeting him, but he seemed okay.
Okay, we have Bob from Oshawa. Thanks for your question, by the way. We have Bob from Oshawa on the line. Bob, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
A question for the Charlatans.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if the song Me in Time is included in the set.
Me in Time?
Me in Time? I think it has been, but it's not, no.
You didn't play it last time you were around.
We didn't.
No, not when you came to Toronto last time. And I think it's one of the better songs you've written.
Oh, cheers, man.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for that.
We'll practice it tomorrow during the sound check.
So if somebody's at the front of the stage during the show, you'll know who it is anyway, if he's shouting Me in Time.
Yeah.
Thanks for your call, Bob. Who do we have on the line next, Chris? We have, looking over, we have, I can't read your writing, man. Shannon from Amherst, New York. Shannon, are you there?
Oh, wow.
Shannon is not there. Sharon, I'm sorry, Sharon. Question for the Charlatans.
Hi guys, how are you doing?
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
So what bands were your major musical influences to really get you going on your style?
Well, originally we were sort of like really influenced by like Sly Stone and Parliament, plus sort of like, obviously major sort of like British influence from sort of like, like the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and stuff. Pretty simple influences, but also maybe the Sex Pistols as well. But I think that's only sort of like from a sort of like, like a growing up sort of like, sort of like period and stuff. But just great music, great music, and hopefully it reflects. Sometimes it reflects better than other times,
I think that's it. Are you done? All right. How about now, though?
Now, Well, alright, yeah, still sort of the album Fresh by Sly and the Family Stone.
So you still are listening to a lot of 60s music, 70s music?
Yeah, I sort of, I can't see it. It's sort of like a real problem in sort of like, admitting sort of like influences that are sort of like are backdated, as long as you sort of like, don't live that far in the past that you can't see the future,
Absolutely. So what about, I'm just wondering about some of the, it's amazing, so a lot of the bands in the 90s now seem to take their influences from the 60s and the 70s, they'll admit that as well, but not a lot of them seem to take their influence from the 80s. With what was happening with New Wave and Duran and all that kind of stuff.
I thought Duran Duran were a pretty good pop group.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't sort of. I always thought that they were like, my sister's favourite group. Stuff. A bit younger and stuff.
The shirts were just too frilly for me.
Couldn't deal
get into it.
I hear you there. We have Neil from Toronto on the line. Neil, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
We have a question for the Charlatans.
Yeah, I saw you guys on Conan O'Brien also last week.
All right.
It looked like the bassist or someone was wearing a Blur t-shirt. And I was wondering if you guys are like fans of theirs or... Neil?
No, it was a Blunt t-shirt.
I don't understand.
Because our bass player's called Blunt, and he got this t-shirt with Blunt written on it.
Oh, it looked like Blur.
Oh, no.
Up to me.
What was that?
What's he say?
I don't know what he said. I have no idea.
What was that?
What's that? Was that his dad? Oh, we should have put his dad. We should have put his dad on. There's a couple questions from the crowd. They just wrote these down, and I know you probably peeked at this one, so I'm going to slide to this one.
Oh, you want to?
Up to our hips in what?
Could have been like Trouble.
Yeah. There wasn't a conscious story behind the title of the album?
It's sort of, I came up with it. Right, and after I invented the title, Martin, the bass player and leader of the group, yeah, great title. It's just like it's sort of out of our heads. And I thought, that's good, man. It's good. So I mean, it could have been. I think we could have been up to our hips in trouble, but I think in deep water, in troubled water. But I think it's sort of like basically it's sort of coming out of the water.
Right. Yeah. Do you choose to leave your lyrics out of your albums? Because I notice only between 10th and 11th you have the lyrics in there. Otherwise, you seem to leave it up to the person who is listening to summarize what they think of the song. Is that the way you like to work it, or is there a story in a lot of your songs?
No, I mean, last time was lyrics, this time was pictures. Simple as that. I mean, I mean, lyrics I think are really important, and not just because I'm a singer and stuff. But I do think they're important. But I thought that there was sort of like the singing was sort of like a lot louder on this record. Sort of like they just sort of like seemed to happen like that. And I thought, no one needs a lyric sheet for this because it's like just so obvious. But I think that there's, I mean, if anyone is having trouble with the lyrics and stuff, just there'll be a lyric sheet sort of available.
Right. You didn't think that maybe just the band thought you were getting to be a better singer or something? They thought you were bringing up a bit?
No.
We did turn you up.
Yeah, I mean, because I always think I'm loud enough anyway,
Right. That was kind of a half-assed question. I didn't really expect you to answer it anyway. We go back to the phones here. We have, who? Porter Boy from Toronto. Porter Boy.
Hello.
Are you there, sir?
Yes, I am.
You have a question for the Charlatans?
Sure, it's a question for the singer. I think that's Tim.
That'd be Tim.
Sorry about that. I was just wondering, I see in all your press releases, or your press pictures,
Okay.
your mouth is always hanging open. Do you have a problem, or...?
My mouth is always hanging open.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because I'm usually shouting at the photographer. Sort of, get it right, man, get it right.
I'm glad you have a sense of humor about it.
Yeah, cheers, man.
Well, it's funny, because, I have honestly heard the term poser before when they've talked about you, when people have spoken about you.
I'm a good poser?
Yeah, they say you're a good poser, I must admit. But, I mean, for a lot of bands in the 90s, especially these times, they try so hard not to pose and not to be called a rock star, yet you don't seem to have any problem with that, do you? Honestly. Well, you know what I mean? You just don't have the problem with anybody calling you that, and you don't seem to worry about, it's almost like an anti-worry. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, I better not stand this way because people are going to look at this picture and call me a rock star. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you're saying. I don't know.